What up? This is Moritz from Wolkify.com. It's a gorgeous day out here in Stockholm, and I thought I would take the opportunity to shoot a quick video. Today I want to talk about having your own thoughts. Being able to come up with your own thoughts is one of the critical skills that you have to develop as you progress into adulthood. You have to be able to think for yourself, and then once you've mastered that, you also have to be able to communicate those thoughts as clearly as possible and as decisive as possible. So check it out. So as we come into this world as human beings, we are basically just being vessels for knowledge. We have all these different people telling us about how the world works. We have our parents teaching us, then we go into kindergarten, then we go to high school, then we go to university. And really all we do is learn about the knowledge that is already out there. We're consuming ideas that have been developed over thousands of years of human race development. And it is up to ourselves to consume these thoughts, make sure that we understand most of them, make sure that we disregard what we disagree with, but at the same time implement what we do agree with. Now, this is about the first 20 to 25 years of our lives. Then you add maybe another 5 years of just learning the heaps and ropes. Do you call it like that in English? Not entirely sure right now, but you get what I mean. You learn like the basics of the job that you want to do. And suddenly you're 30, and guess what? You never had a single unique thought in your life. All the thoughts that you have had in your life are basically just based on thoughts that somebody else had in the past. They are based on thoughts and ideas that you have learned over time, and they are based on other people who might be long dead, but their thoughts are still very much alive. Through you. You've become a vessel for their thoughts. So don't get me wrong here, it is totally cool if you learn as much and as frequently as possible. You have to keep that passion for the knowledge that other people already came up with throughout your entire life. You have to keep learning until you die. I think that is amazing. This is one of the best things you can do, and this is actually what life is all about. Constantly learning and improving and evolving and changing yourself. The best way to do that is if you read and learn and consume knowledge as much as possible. But you also get to the point where you feel like now it is actually time to step it up yourself and formulate some thoughts on your own. So I want to teach you today what you can do to really accelerate that progress. Now the first thing I would invite you to do is that you go out and you take time to record the thoughts that you already have. That could be either through a journal, you could write them down, you could start a blog, you could do video blogging as I do, and you could try to reach as many people as possible with that. Probably you have found something, some area that you're already passionate about and that you have more knowledge about than the average guy. So go out and share that knowledge with other people who are like-minded and who share that passion of yours. This is actually exactly what I'm doing with these video blogs. The thing is, your ideas probably won't be unique at that point. You have consumed a lot of knowledge from a lot of different mentors, you have read a lot of books, you have consumed all kinds of media really regarding that topic, but none of these thoughts are unique. Actually, most of my videos are not unique. They're based off of something that I've heard somewhere else, and they're based on mentors that I've had over the years. But it is still important to go through that process of not only consuming knowledge, but also giving it back out into the world. Even though you're just reproducing something that somebody else came up with before you, you're already adding value to the world. You're already producing and not merely consuming, so that already gets you in the right mindset. Now you're gonna be doing that for a while, but after a while, your knowledge repertoire, so to say, is gonna be exhausted. You will come to that point where you've talked about everything you want to talk about and really everything that you've learned throughout the years from different sources. Now, this is the point which is crucial. You have to make sure when you get to that point that you don't feel like your job is done because you reproduce something that people before you have already come up with and that people before you have already shared with the world. This is not your duty. It is a first step, and it is a very important and crucial first step, but it is merely the first step. After that, it is up to you to really step it up. After that comes the period where you create your own value, where you have completely unique thoughts based on the thoughts of others in the past, but they are really truly your own. You own them, and nobody else has had them before. So this is where you really start to give value to the people. This is where you're really, making a difference, making a dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs called it once. If you want to be that person who makes a dent in the universe, you have to go through that process of first consuming a lot of knowledge, then reproducing that knowledge, and eventually coming up with your own knowledge for others to learn from you. And that can be really unique stuff. It can really take humanity and mankind to the next level so that generations after you can learn from the progress that you brought to the table. Important for that is that you give yourself room for these thoughts. They don't come easily, and they certainly don't come when you're too focused on learning from others. At some point, you have to at least a little bit detach yourself from outside sources, and you have to make sure that you think clearly and you think for yourself. So one way that I try to already enhance that progress, even though I'm not quite there yet at that point, is that I go on long walks. I try to be by myself. I try to have periods throughout my day where I'm not doing anything, or at least it might look like that to outsiders. So I'm not being on Facebook, I'm not looking at my smartphone, but I'm also not reading, I'm not working, I'm not even exercising. I'm just being by myself and thinking. Sometimes I'm just lying on my bed for half an hour, trying to think as deeply as possible about a certain issue or problem or topic that is concerning me, and that is something that I'm thinking about. So try to implement these periods of time into your daily or weekly or monthly schedule. Try to find time for yourself, and it doesn't have to be much either, but try to make a little bit of time where you can just think about things without being influenced by other people's thoughts. Try to think for yourself and try to come up with something unique. It is a process, and it certainly takes quite a long time, but it will be worth it. This is really what makes humanity progress, and if you want to be part of that progress and that process, you have to make sure that you find time to actually come up with something unique, because it's not easy at all. So this is kind of what I want to leave you with. Make sure that you have a certain vision for yourself where you want to go, and make sure that you follow those steps. So first, learn as much as possible, then reproduce what you have learned to share that value with others, and then try to make time to come up with unique ideas and unique value that you can then share with your followers that you already gained in the steps before. Try to become an expert throughout that process, and try to take humanity to the next level in whatever area you're passionate about. This is my passion, and hopefully at one point I'm going to be able to really add some unique value to all of you guys out there. Talk to you next time.